Again, it's kind of hard to want to talk about anything that's going on because it's so goddamn fucked up. And I'm telling you, anybody that sits there and thinks that working with the political right is somehow a good thing, especially if you're a woman and a feminist, you ought to have your goddamn head examined. Okay? And anyhow, you know, they're talking about all these targets of the right. You know, they talk about the anti-Semitism. They talk about the racism. They talk about the alphabet soup bigotry and so forth. But what really drives it is butthurt white men that aren't getting laid, or the women are just not bothering with them at all anymore because they're so screwed up. And, you know, it's a fairly safe assumption that most white males of voting age, if they're registered to vote, they're voting Republican. They're stupid. If they do it, they're stupid. They're brainwashed. All this. But at the bottom of it, and racist and anti-Semitic and all that, but at bottom, they hate women. And they want to return, they think they want to return to an era that never was. And I'll tell you, fuck that goddamn shit. If ever going back to the 50s. But the Republicans, the people in the administration like Vogt and Vance and Republicans like Mike Johnson are all into this Christian reconstructionist horse shit. And they think they're going to try to force everybody to believe the way they do because they've got a twisted reading of the Bible that has nothing to do with the Bible. And any kind of traditional Christianity, it's all a bastardization, and it's also a tool to con people into supporting fascism and to part with their wallets to give to the rich because they're a bunch of fucked up lazy bums. Let's face it. The only thing they know is either were born into wealth or they were lucky. It doesn't take any huge skill. Or you're a sociopath and you delight in stealing from everybody else. That's what we got right now. We've got a kleptocracy right now. But anyway, now I wouldn't characterize them as MAGA. This isn't MAGA. Amanda Marcotte, she could write some good stuff, but sometimes she's full of shit, and sometimes she's just absolutely ignorant. This isn't MAGA. This is Christian reconstructionists that are butthurt that any woman would dare have an opinion or a point of view, even if I think it's wrong-headed, because women are stupid. They think women are stupid. They're beasts of burden, good to fuck and have kids and do chores around the house that the asshole meal refuses to do. And I'm going to call them assholes. Any man that wants that is an asshole. He's an abuser. He's an asshole. He's a piece of shit. And how this is even acceptable is beyond me. And it makes me mad because it's unbelievable. And then they're talking like Joel Webb and some of these other idiots talking about we're going to take away women's right to vote and all this damn shit. If women voted the way they liked, do you think they would bitch about it? No. It's only because they're more seriously impacted by these right-wing policies, these libertarian horse shit ideas. They're more negatively impacted because the way the system is set up to force women to prostitute themselves in marriage to get a roof over their head. And then when that roof isn't over their head anymore and they're out on the street, they have to turn to a safety net. And that enrages these goddamn abusers. These useless pieces of shit that wrap themselves around the Bible and everything else. So anyway, the topic of this was about this woman, and she's made a hell of a lot of money. She's got a high-paid career as a head of an anti-abortion group, and she's an abolitionist, that Kristen Hawkins. And she's married and got 4 kids. But now they're mad because a woman is an anti-abortion leader, and, you know, it might carry a little more clout because women are more directly affected by abortion than a goddamn lazy shit man who wouldn't have a clue. Well, only that women are just things to put their dick in and bear children and all that other crap. Oh, well, it isn't crap, but the traditional stuff was a load of crap. It always was. But women were conned into supporting this kind of anti-abortion shit, this anti-feminist shit. They were conned into it because Andrea Dworkin wrote about it in Right-Wing Women. It's because they are so scared of being on their own and being raped and it's all exaggerated. The threat of sexual assault, it's wildly exaggerated. Yeah, it exists, but it's wildly exaggerated. And the reason it's wildly exaggerated is that the point is to con women into partnering with men. It's a total con, under the delusion that men protect them. Men don't protect shit. Ask old Joseph DeAngelo if that worked. It didn't work. He loved going after couples and subduing the man, raping the wife or the girlfriend, killing both of them. Hey, it happens all the time. Men don't protect you. But what they're talking about, these religious wackos, and I'm not an atheist, but I despise these Christian reconstructionists with a passion. But what they're talking about is they don't protect women because women are human beings and deserving of chivalrous actions and being protected. No, it's because they're sexual property. They're reproductive property of a man. And if another man touches them, how dare they? That's breaking the law in their book. They're assholes. They're disgusting. Disgusting human beings. But anyway, back to Kristen Hawkins, and she thinks there shouldn't be abortion for anything, any reason at all. She's one of these abolitionist types. And anyway, many on the right, this is Marcotte, feel they no longer need to hide the naked sexism fueling their movement or put up with the annoyance of women, even in token leadership positions. And you find a lot of women, even in the White House here, in the cabinet, there's a lot of women there. And they're tokens, you know. And as this woman in Mother Jones reports, and I'll have to take a look at that, the anti-abortion movement is embroiled in an escalating civil war right now over these issues. Male leaders of the Christian right have been swarming Kristen Hawkins, the 39-year-old head of a student anti-abortion group. It's, Students for Life or whatever it's called. Demanding her ejection from the movement. It started after she objected to Republican legislators introducing bills to charge women who get abortions with murder. Isn't that stupid? An extreme move she feels will backfire on the movement. She's right. But that's what they think. But mostly it was about growing male anger on the Christian right that women are allowed leadership positions at all. They're for fucking. That's all we're for. And then men whine why women don't want anything to do with them anymore. This jackass Webben says, remove this woman from public service. And Theo Bros, these are Christian reconstructionists. And Pete Hegseth is one of these nut jobs, too. Soon after, Theo Bros jumped in, declaring we need Christian men to lead the fight against abortion. Which, of course, everybody laughs at him because that is never going to affect them in any way other than child support if the women decide to go through with a pregnancy, arguing that women's suffrage was a mistake because they tend to vote Democratic and accusing Hawkins of emasculating her husband by being busy jet setting. I don't think her husband objects. 45% of female voters backed Trump in 2024, despite his overt misogyny. Most no doubt believe complicity would protect them. Well, they think these women think men protect them. And they think, a lot of them throw away their lives to stay home, be unemployed, and do the shit work around the house to keep the peace. And they don't want to be tossed out on the street and maybe have to do tricks like old Andrea Dworkin talked about 40 years ago. So, after all, they're more likely to live and work with Republican women. If they want to feel the full flowering of male domination, it's Republican women they need to see submitting. Well, yeah, but that isn't really it. I mean, it is it, but it isn't it. Because it isn't the thing with the left women is they want to kill them. Okay, feminists, they'll execute them for being witches or whatever crackpot thing they've got going. That's what they'll do. Anyway, Webben has been clamoring more loudly in recent months about their wish to strip women, especially their own wives, of the right to vote. Oh, God, because they vote Democratic. You won't let women vote? Well, our society doesn't let 5-year-olds vote. He added that a woman is like a child, and God has appointed men to protect them. All because of a fable of the Garden of Eden? Is that something that never happened? Is it possible to have happened? It was never intended to have actually happened. There has been a growing support in Christian nationalist circles for the repeal of the 19th Amendment and support a household vote. This is all bullshit. There never was a household vote system where men vote on behalf of their families. Oh, God, it would never pass. Wouldn't pass Congress. They have to have 3/4 of the votes. So that's dead in the water. And then supposedly they're trying this ID shit of trying to disenfranchise women that way. There's been talk of that, but that's going nowhere either. So they think women are stupid. I mean, why doesn't just Webben say it? Women are stupid. They're beasts of burdens to be fucked and have babies. Oh, maybe homeschool them. Because that isn't about kids anyway, but binding women closer to the home. But the problem is that ship sailed a long time ago. That stay-at-home bullshit sailed a long, long, long time ago. Women, if they're doing it, they're only doing it short-term to save on child care and to recover from childbirth. They're not out there doing it years on end. They can't. They know better. Younger women know better than to be economically vulnerable if that guy ditches them or dies. They know better. So it's an insurance policy for them to have at least a job, if not a career. And staying at home is not a job. Anyway, so they've got that. And another thing, I'm trying to think, I almost lost my train of thought, and I think I have. But anyway, yeah, they're not going to be vulnerable. Oh, and because we don't have the strong unions in the private sector anymore, when they had the family wage, it is impossible to have a single household earner with a stay-at-home wife, a man with a stay-at-home wife anymore, because the economy has long passed that time, that era. So unless these bastards want to go back to unions and widespread unions and the family wage, which was a load of crap, it's all talking out of their butt. It's never going back to that. But they want control. They just want controlling women. They're abusers. Any man that talks like that is an abuser. They have an abuser mentality. And to think that women are just things to control. Well, fuck you. It ain't going back. Oh, they can't. The trouble with banning no-fault divorce, they can't do that. That's a state issue. So that'll never happen. That marriage laws are regulated by the states. And you're not going to force women to marry and have kids. Marriage is on the way out. Marriage is on the way out. And this is what upsets them. And it deserves to die. And anyway, I was this just frosted my butt. But they don't even hide it now. These assholes don't even hide it. So Marcotte goes into other things about Elon Musk and other prominent cases where these abusers and deadbeats are being lionized and crap. And Mariah Dunnigan wrote that the right-wing woman believes that sexual and reproductive service to right-wing men will earn their protection. It's a protection racket. Yeah, that she's just ripping off Andrea Dworkin, is what she's doing. Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's all a lie. It's, of course they don't have a claim on him that he must respect. He doesn't respect a woman. Any man that wants you to stay home and rot your brain doing that stuff for your whole lifetime, he has no respect for you. They'd have no respect. And unfortunately, I think it's a majority of men have no respect for women at all. I'm not going to say all of them, but the majority of them have no respect. And women are saying, fine. See you later, guys. I want nothing to do with you. Anyway, so that stuff kind of frosts my ass. But her problem is that, yeah, MAGA's misogynist, but she's kind of confusing the Christian reconstructionists with MAGAs. And they're not necessarily one and the same. In fact, yeah, it's actually not necessarily everybody that voted MAGA is a brazen misogynist that wants to take women's right to vote away from them. And yeah, there was that thing up in Coeur d'Alene where a woman was dragged out of a meeting, a public meeting, and that was widely reported everywhere. But this was what it was. And the woman was a doctor. I don't know if she was an MD, DO, or a PhD. But anyway, some sources called her a doctor. And anyway, it says it's questionable that violence was necessary because the woman was heckling Republican officials at a public event. As part of, I think there were several Democrats there. Abortion, the Associated Press reported, appears to have played a triggering role in the display of violence. One lawmaker mentioned legislation, he said, protected doctors from being forced to do abortions, to which audience members shot back, women are dying and doctors are leaving our state, which is true. That footage is viscerally shocking, but crucially, Republican women are fools if they think treatment will only be reserved for Democratic women. No, they'll only kill Democrats. On the contrary, because Republican women tend to be in closer proximity to Republican men, they're far more likely to be on the receiving end of anger over talkback or other perceived insubordination. No, but they'll kill women on the left. They might beat up the ones on the right or throw them out on the street, but they'll kill feminists. But while all this crap's going on, yeah, I've been watching a lot of video, DVDs and stuff. And, you know, that helps take my mind off a lot of stuff. And maybe sometime I'll talk about it. I've been watching some Jean Harlow movies. And then there's some 1940s movies that I'm going to look at. And I also got a copy of The Caine Mutiny with Humphrey Bogart in it. And I guess because of all this shitola going on in the White House and stuff, all this insane proclamations, that it was kind of a timely movie. Anyway, I am about done. I'm sorry about this rambling, but this kind of shit, they're saying as the cliche goes, they're saying the quiet part out loud now. These nut jobs that want to return women back to the kitchen because they're stupid. You know, they're taught they're inferior. How different is that from Islam and some of that crap? How different is that? It isn't. But there ain't any going back, folks. Webbing and all the rest of those guys. Women ain't going back. And you better deal with it. Anyway, that's it.